Welcome, Oscar. There you go, Oscar. Um, welcome, y'all. Welcome. It's good to have you here. We'll let everyone pop on in. That was really good night of boxing. I'm excited about it. I want to get into it. I didn't put any money on the mayor. I didn't do a video on Mayor and Jonas because I don't like Mayor personally. I don't like my personal animus towards someone, my personal dislike for someone get involved in my betting. So if I like someone or don't like someone personally, I probably won't do a video on them. But that was 10 out of 10. That fight was as good as it gets. That was tremendous fight. I had it even. I put on Twitter, I had it even. I did. I had it 5-5, 95. I honestly thought they were going to score it for Mayor. But then again, it's in the UK. My gut, my card had it nothing, but my kind of gut said, oh, they're going to go with Mayor. They're going to go with Mayor. And they didn't. They scored it a draw. I'm fine. I mean, I thought they were going to score a draw. They scored it for Jonas. I'm fine with it going for Jonas. Absolutely fine with it going to Jonas. Not a problem there. 96-95. That tells me, I haven't seen the cards, but, and I'm not a math major, but 96-95 means that they scored one round even. If you score that even round, which could go for either fighter, if you score for Jonas, if you score for Mayor, we got a draw, which is how I had. So that's how close it was. And I'm cool with it going either way. We didn't have any out of whack scorecards. 97-93 Mayor. Again, this was a hard fight to score. I thought the ESPN crew, Tim Bradley and Bernardo Suna, I thought they were a little too Mikaela Mayor friendly. Now that's their fighter. That's a top ranked fighter, so I understand. But they were like scoring, it seemed like almost every round after the first round or two. And I scored the second for Mayor. I know a lot of people didn't, but this was a very, very difficult fight to score. No question about it. It was a hard fight to score. I did not think that Mayor was going to be at a major size disadvantage. Moving up third weight class, fourth, whatever it's been in the last 2-3 years that she's fought. I really didn't think it was going to be an issue because Jonas isn't big. Like, Jonas is not a big girl. So I didn't think there was going to be much of a size disadvantage for Mayor. And there wasn't any. I thought Mayor may have been the bigger person in the ring. I thought she might have been the bigger fighter. She definitely wasn't smaller. She moved up the weight well. I mean, she must have been massive looking back on that 130 and 135. You guys come in. Let me know how y'all had it scored. Who'd y'all have it for? Did y'all score it? Who'd you have it for? Oh, we're getting okay. Mayor always walking forward, not on her mark. This is 2017. I'm sorry. Mayor always walking forward, not mark on her face. Landed the cleaner shots. I had it 96-94, and I'm from the UK. I can see that. I had it even. It was a hard fight to score. I'm not going to cry robbery. We're going to get into some more of these comments here. I'm not going to cry robbery over this. But I will agree with that. Mayor landed the more meaningful shots, but Jonas was countering her well. Jonas did a lot of good work. It's a difficult fight to score. Let's get to Assad. Assad, robbery. I'm not going to say it's a robbery. If you had, my gut kind of told me Mayor won this fight. Like, I thought she did the better work, but my card had it even. Like, my card was 95-95. If I'm looking at the whole pie, yeah, it looks like Mayor did better work. But when I slice it up, slice by slice, I got 5 slices for Mayor, 5 slices for Jonas. I got it 5-5. That's the misfortune in scoring boxing. Gerardo Gonzalez, Mayor won 6-4 round, 6-4, or at least a draw. The faces speak who won. Jonas' face was beat up, right? Like, if we're just doing snapshots, and I show you Jonas' face and Mayor's face, Mayor won the fight. Fortunately, that's not how boxing is scored. But look, if you had it 6-4 Mayor, I think that's a fine scorecard. I think 6-4 either way, or 5-5 or 5. Even the 7-3 Mayor is not out of pocket. Like, that's not a ridiculous scorecard. It's just one more round of the close rounds that go to Mayor. There's so many close rounds in this fight. Like, as long as I got close scorecards, I said this about Haney and Loma too. I said, as long as the scorecards are close, I'm cool. and the scorecards were close, I kind of guessed most people were going to thought Mayer won. But it's like everyone thought Mayer, which is fine. Which is fine. I just thought, it was going to be a more 50-50. Not that it would be totally 50-50, but I thought more people would have said draw or Jonas won. But everyone is telling me Mayer won. Everyone's Assad. So when you call it a robbery, is that because you lost money on it, or do you actually think it was a robbery? Look, if you think it was close, say you think it was close. If you don't think it was that close and you thought Mayer won convincingly, I want to know. Like, how did you guys have it? For me, it was a very, very difficult fight to score. Like, every round was hard to score. Like, it was close. It was a super close fight. I thought a draw would have felt right, but we didn't get a draw. We got a close decision, split decision in favor of Jonas. And I'm not surprised. This is not like Twinny says, got to give you a subscribe, sir. You speak a lot of sense. I appreciate it. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. Follow me. We're going to get into the rest of the card too. But yeah, give me a like and a subscribe. Everyone, please, if you can, it's free. Like and subscribe. 3D Box and the Boxing Bookie comes at you for every major fight. This is really the only major card we have this week, but we did a show for the Pro Box card too. And we went 1-1. We split. We made our money back this week. So it's not terrible. We didn't have a terrible week. Want to have a better week. I was surprised how bad Jack Cullen looked. Twinny, are you a UK guy? Are you surprised how lackluster Cullen looked? Like, I didn't want Cullen to engage in a war with Chelli because that's Chelli's only chance. But Chelli doesn't jab. Just pump your jab in his face, touch him to the body, keep him away from you. I thought, like, this was a fight that Cullen could have walked away with. Like, really, just fight a disciplined fight, stay on the back foot, keep the jab pumping, and just don't let him in. Chelli doesn't slip. He blocks punches with his face, and he doesn't jab. Why is he this hard for Cullen to beat? I thought Cullen won the first fight. I know I'm in a minority there. I understand most people think Chelli won the first fight. That was in Eddie's Garden. But why is Chelli so difficult for Jack Cullen to beat? It should be tailor-made for him if Cullen fights a disciplined fight, which, I don't know. Maybe Cullen is not as good as I'm trying to give him credit for. Jake Bellinger, what happened in Jonas won a split decision, apparently disputed. I thought it was a draw. I thought it could have gone either way. The cards were close, 96-95 and 96-94 for Jonas, and then 97-93 in front of Mayer. That kind of fight, super, super close fight. Let me know what you got. And then Cullen won, and then I'm sorry, Chelli beat Cullen. Cullen looked awful. And Mark Jeffers won. We didn't get the stream. ESPN Plus didn't stream the Mark Jeffers fight. Did anyone see the Mark Jeffers fight? Did anyone see how he looked? Because I think Jeffers is okay. I just think Jermaine Brown's really bad. Another guy. Rip to you haters. Bullcrap decision. I had it even. I had a draw rip. I'm guessing you had it for Mayer? Did you have it close or did you have it wide? I haven't heard one person have it for Jonas yet. Not one. Which is surprising. They robbed the American. Jake, I don't think it was a robbery. I had it a draw on my card. I thought it could have gone either way. It was super close. Every round I thought was hard to score. I'm not calling it a robbery. The rest of the chat is calling it a robbery. I was okay with the decision. Like, I had it a draw. This could have gone either way. It went to Jonas. I'm not shocked. But they're calling it. They're saying the American got robbed. Cullen just couldn't get his timing right. I think Simpson beats Chelli too. I think Zach Chelli sucks. Like, I don't like to say that about fighters. But what does he do good besides he can bang a little bit and scrap a little bit on the inside? I guess he's got pretty good timing, apparently. Am I underestimating? Am I underrating Zach Chelli? Is he better than I'm giving him credit for? Because I don't think he's very good. Like, I picked Cullen to beat him. I'm just not impressed with him at all, really. But maybe, like, Cullen, I just think Cullen's okay. Cullen is fundamentally sound. Use your height, use your reach, just jab him, touch him to the body, control him. Just control the pace of the fight and you'll win because Chelli can't time. Chelli doesn't slip shots in. He's not Tank Davis. He doesn't use his jab at all. He's not Canelo, right? Like, what does he do to get inside? He eats shots. So just keep the shots pouring in his face. Cullen's got a decent right hand. He lands it accurately. There might be a ton of power on it. But if you keep landing jab, jab, right hand, jab, jab, right hand, like, it's going to slow Chelli down. And it's like, what is he doing? It's just, Cullen was terrible tonight. Like, I'm not trying to, I don't think Cullen's a terrible fighter, but he did not fight well tonight. Like, and then there was no urgency. There was no change up the pace. There was no changing the game plan. It was just like, all right, we're going to lose some rounds. Twitty goes, nah, you're dead right. He's awful. Yeah. It's an interesting division. It's an interesting weight class. Where does actually go from here? Where does Jack Cullen go from here? Chelli looks a little small for the size. Is that his robbery? This is what we're getting. We're getting everyone calling it a robbery. Everyone apparently, allegedly thinks this is a robbery, which is okay. I mean, like I said, after watching the fight, I thought it was a draw, but like I kind of thought Mayo won too. Like, that makes sense. Like, okay, like Mayo seems to have done the better work here. Like, but like on my card, I got it 5-5. I just thought it was a difficult fight to score. So I wasn't really upset about it going one way or the other. As long as it was close, it was close. British level is their peak. I got in trouble for making this comment about other fighters. I'm not gonna. Are we talking about Chelli? Or are we talking about Cullen, Twinny? Because, and what about Jeffers? What do you guys think about Mark Jeffers? We didn't get the stream of that fight in the U.S., so I was a little upset about that. And then I want to talk about the rookie today. The kid making his pro debut. Stephen Clark, was that his name? I'm guessing he was a pretty good amateur. He had pretty good amateur background. Yeah, that kid looked pretty good. Both. Twinny said both guys are peak. Yeah. What about McKenna? I know McKenna opponent, he got a late replacement. I'm a big fan of McKenna. I think McKenna has a high ceiling, a much higher ceiling. Like, there's something to McKenna. Like, he's long and rangy, like Cullen is, but he uses it better. He goes to the body better. He keeps his jab pumping better. He can scrap on the inside better. Like, I think there's something to McKenna. Now, is he going to be a world champ? I don't know about all that. But I see a guy that can be a top 15, top 20 guy and really, really make a push. Like, I think there's something to McKenna, and I understand he was supposed to fight a better opponent than he fought today. I completely understand. I did a video on it. But I want to see Aaron McKenna start taking massive quantum leaps, step up. He's 24 now, still pretty young. 18-0, 9 knockouts. You can fight guys better than Mikaela. He was supposed to fight Udafia, right? That's who he was supposed to fight. Udafia. Do we know what happened to Udafia? Why he backed out of the fight? Did he get sick? Was it a customs thing? Like, what was the holdup in his fight? Yeah, I like McKenna, very intelligent boxer. Yeah, he's got a good ring IQ. His physical gifts, obviously, he's got the height and the reach. There's something to him. I think he trains in the U.S. now too, if I'm not mistaken. I like to see, who do we want to see McKenna fight next? Do we want to see the Udafia fight next? Do we want to see something bigger than that? What do we want to see McKenna fight next? I got a name that I was thinking that I'd like to see him fight. That's Shane Mosley Jr. So I think he could win. It's a big name. Obviously, it's a good fighter with decent wins. What do we think of that? Is that a fight he's ready for? I think he wins that fight, honestly. I think he could beat Shane Mosley Jr. Not that he would definitely win. He's going to blow him out and dog walk him and then steamroll him. But, yeah, I think McKenna's ready for something like that. Great shot. It's a good fight, right? It's his name. I was thinking of watching this fight. I think he's ready for that kind of level of opposition. I think he can win. It's a good test. Does Mosley's name carry any weight in the UK? Could that headline a card in the UK if we put Mosley Jr. on it? That's what I'd like to see. Would McKenna be willing to fight? Is McKenna promoted by boxers? Does Ben promote him? Is he like signed and inked with them? Because I've seen McKenna on other cards, right? On other shows. And I mean, those were the big fights on the card. Pretty good card though. Pretty good card. McKenna's 18-0 now, 9 knockouts. And then the cards in the Cullen-Chelli fight. First of all, who did y'all pick? And did you have it as close? I stopped scoring it because I was scoring every round for Chelli. The judges had it close. The judges had it 115, 114, 116, 113, 116, 112. So the judges were scoring rounds for Cullen. Now, I stopped scoring the fight, round 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there because I thought Cullen wasn't really winning any rounds. But did y'all have it close? No, he's not a boxer. So they could bring him over. They could bring him over and fight on a Golden Boy card in the U.S., or they could bring Mosley over to the UK. I don't know. Like, Mosley's name carries weight here in the US, obviously. I don't know how much weight it carries in the UK. But, like, that's a good fight. They should make that fight. I think that's a crossroads fight for Mosley. And if McKenna wins that fight, then it puts him right at the world stage, ready for the top names in the division. He beat Shane Mosley Jr. And I think he can win. Would Eddie Hearn put him in with Ammo Williams? I don't know if that looked for him. But would Eddie Hearn do that? Would Eddie Hearn put his guy in a fight with McKenna? Ammo Williams is really good. Ammo is the better athlete, but McKenna's the better boxer. I don't know if Eddie Hearn would match him with a guy with a high ring IQ who knows how to use his height, who can mix it up. I don't know. Would Ammo overwhelm him with his speed and athleticism? Possibly. Could McKenna sit back and outbox him and break him down? That's possible too. So overall, it was a good card. It's the only one we got this weekend. I just wish there was more boxing on. But we split. We split. We got our money back this week. We took Jeffers. I told you Jeffers was going to win. I told you Jermaine Brown was absolutely awful. I don't understand anything at all about Jermaine Brown. I don't even understand how that guy wins fights. I know he's got a decent record. He's got a couple of wins. But, like, what is Jermaine Brown good at? He's not that fast. He doesn't really use the ring. He's just kind of long. Like, what? I don't understand how Jermaine Brown wins fights. So I thought Mark Jeffers, who I'm not in love with, Jeffers is okay. He's a lot better than Jermaine Brown. I thought that was an easy one. And this Cullen-Chelli fight, man. I'm just so disappointed with Cullen. I just thought he was better than that. I thought, okay, the first fight was a bunch of years ago. It was 3 years ago. It was in Eddie's Garden during COVID that summer or fall, whatever it was, of 2020. It's like, okay. He's gotten better. He had the Pacheco fight, but that's, Pacheco was something different. Yeah, I think Cullen has done enough. He'll fight a disciplined fight. He's smarter. He's more mature. He's learned from the first fight. He's been in with high-level opposition. He'll do better, and he'll beat Chelli. Nope. He just destroyed Mark Heffron. Like, how is this the same guy? Does Chelli just have his number? Like, does Chelli just do something that he can't master? Like, I can't checkmate Chelli? You know what I'm saying? Like, does Chelli offer something different that just tricks Cullen? Or is Cullen really not good? Because Zach Chelli, to me, I understand he's only got 2 losses and a draw. It just seems like he's got more losses than that. Like, I feel like everyone's beating him. Cody Davis, I guess Jack Cullen was a draw. He's got the loss to Mark Jeffers. He's got a win over Anthony Sims. That's a quality win. He's got a win over Jermaine Brown. I think Jermaine Brown's terrible. I know other people don't agree with me. But he got a win over Anthony Sims. That's a quality win. Is Chelli. Anthony Sims was a highly touted guy before he took the loss to Angulo. he was a touted guy. He fought on the Usyk card in Chicago. He beat Von Alexander. Before that, he beat Kobe Porter, who was a guy, that they use that's supposed to push you. Anthony Sims was a dude. Anthony Sims was supposed to be him. And Chelli beat him. Maybe I'm hating on Chelli. I don't see it. Coley changed trainers. He tried to counter and he not good fighting like that. No, he's not. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible by Cullen. I'm just utterly disappointed in Cullen. What about Steve Clark though? What do we think of that performance? I know it was his pro debut, and I know the level of opposition wasn't great, but I like that guy, Steve. I'm getting that right. Correct? I don't want to sound like an idiot here. Stephen Clark. They call him Stay Clark or something like that. And his trunk said Steve-O. 1-0. He just beat a guy in Vasov Madrimov who was 346-5. But okay, the record's obviously terrible. But dude made his pro debut against a guy that had 54 professional fights. Americans don't do that. Americans make their pro debut against an 0-0 guy, an 0-0 UFC fighter, or an 0-2 guy who's been knocked out twice. They don't make pro debuts against guys with 54 pro fights because that guy who's 346-5 doesn't suck as much as his record indicates he sucks because he keeps getting used. He's a journeyman who goes around and pushes people. That's why he's used over and over again. So yeah, you look at his record's awful. I understand. 346-5 is not a good record, but he's not as bad. There's a guy, he's now 347-5. He's not as bad as that. There are guys that he can beat, and he can definitely go the distance. He's only been knocked out 6 times in 47 fights, and that in his 47 losses. He's fighting again in February, although that is probably going to be off because he got knocked out. Is there be a suspension? I'm guessing. I don't know. That's how it works in Texas. Is that how it also works in the U.S.? Oh, he trained and managed by Smith Brothers. Yeah, he looked good to me. He looked good to me, Twinny. Twinny said I missed that one. I had to pick up the misses. He's trained and managed by Smith Brothers. He looked good, man. He looked good to me. I mean, the level of competition was poor. But, I don't think it was as poor as people think. The guy's record 346-5 is going to make people think one thing. It's okay, he goes the distance. And Clark stopped him. Easily looked good. Rafa, what's up, bro? Went 2 times on Jeffers, got back 267. There you go. I thought the Jeffers fight was a layup because I think Jermaine Brown is so awful. I just think Jermaine Brown is absolutely terrible. Just horrible. They speak high on him. I guess they're talking about Steve Clark. Yeah. I can see why. Pro debut, he impressed. I hope they bring him back again in a month or two. See him again. And then move him up to 6 rounders. I think this is a guy that we can move pretty quickly. I definitely think this is a guy that they can move quickly. He's a middleweight. There's room to move quick in the middleweight. I don't know how quickly you want to move him, but how old is he? Does anyone know how old Stephen Clark is? Because he looked good. He looked good. That's a guy I think you definitely want to keep your eye on. Rafa. You're in the U.S., right? So you didn't get to see the Jeffers fight? I was disappointed they didn't add it to our stream. They started after that fight. I wanted to see that fight. I wanted everyone to see what I'm talking about. Jermaine Brown, dude's not good. He beat Anthony Sims. I don't know. Did anyone watch that fight? Does anyone know how he beat Anthony Sims? Not that Anthony Sims really panned out to what he was supposed to be. But Anthony Sims was a really, really touted prospect. A lot of people were really, really high on Anthony Sims. It didn't work out. How many rounds did the Clark fight go? It stopped him in the 3rd. But he was punishing him the whole time. And the guy he was fighting wasn't terrible. He was landing hooks. You can see he knew what he was doing. He wasn't in there completely clueless. Sometimes we see American fighters make their pro debut against some guy who's 0-2 and got knocked out in the first round twice. No, he wasn't like that. He was all right. Like what was homeboy's name? Vasov Mamadov. They'll use him again. You'll see him again against other middleweights who want to crack their teeth. Like he puts up a good fight for sure. Then what do we go next? Jonas and Mayer. What do we do? What does Jonas do? We're gonna get a rematch on that, right? Like the two of them, we're gonna run this back because apparently everyone, I haven't got one person who thinks Mayer didn't win. So I guess we're getting part 2, I would think. They'll make that fight again. Obviously, drew pretty well. Has attention, on both sides of the pond. A lot of people were talking about the fight. A lot of people talking about this. Fight was great. Yeah, I agree with this, 20. Brown is durable, but Jeffers is a few levels above. Yeah, and Jeffers is just okay, right? Like, Jeffers ain't no world beater. He's okay. Like, he's got good skills. He can fight in all 3 levels. He can, whoever taught Jeffers to fight did a good job. The guy definitely knows how to fight. There's just nothing explosive about him. There's nothing next level about him. He's not a great athlete. He's not super fast. He's not super twitchy. He's not super hard to hit. He doesn't throw a ton of punches. There's nothing spectacular about him other than he's well schooled in the art. He knows how to fight. That's going to carry him to this level. At a world level, I think he comes up short. There's nothing great about him. He knows how to fight, and that's going to carry him. But on the highest stage, when you're in with the best fighters in the world, it's not going to translate well. You know what I'm saying? Like, seems like a good dude, right? Like, it's not shade on Mark Jeffers. It's just like, I think at the highest level, Mark Jeffers comes up short. Mark Jeffers won on points. He won a wide decision, 98-93, 99-92, 98-93. So he won basically every round. That's kind of what I expected. Where does Mark Jeffers go from here? Super middleweight division. What's a good fight for Mark Jeffers? It's tough. That's a good question. Would they put him in with McCrory, the Irish guy? They wouldn't do that, right? They wouldn't want to get one of the guys, one of the two. That's too risky. There's a lot of names at 68, some veterans that he can beat. He can fight my Italian guy, Ivan Zucco. Giovanni Di Corrales. There's like names he can fight. It's just like, who do you think he's ready for? I'm looking at the names. It's tough. Like, if he wants to fight a guy that BoxRec puts ahead of him, these names are tough, man. Vladimir Shishkinin, David Morrell, he's not fighting those guys. He's like Melakuziev, Edgar Berlanga. It's just not like Edgar Berlanga. If Edgar Berlanga had the fundamentals of Jeffers, he'd be amazing, right? But it's like, I think Jeffers might be winning rounds in that fight, but Berlanga's eventually going to knock him out, right? Like, that's how I feel about that. Like, Jeffers could be beating him. Jeffers could be beating Berlanga round by round, but eventually Berlanga knocks him out. Twinny says they got to run it back. I'm looking forward to the rewatching and scoring it again. Hard to score on first. It was hard to score, and that's why, like, if everyone could go back, watch it again, and let me know how you scored it, because I thought it was really, really hard to score. Like, the rounds were close. The rounds were competitive. It's like it became a subjective thing. Like, what do you prefer? Like, I felt like a lot of rounds, Mikaela Mayer would be winning early, and then Jonas would rally late. How do you want to score that? It's a hard fight to score. My guess is they will run it back because it was such a good fight and it was so close. And now most people, almost everyone I'm seeing, and we'll see how the rest of the boxing Twitter sphere and boxing media and the fans and how everyone feels about it. But everyone I'm hearing thinks Mayer won the fight. If that's the case, with as entertaining as it was, we got to run it back, right? We got to run it back. It's only fair to run it back. So the next big card and correct me if I'm wrong, is next week. And I'm going to be doing a video on Munguia and Ryder next. I haven't done that yet. I've had so much to get to, but I'll have that out hopefully tonight or tomorrow. I will have the Munguia Ryder. My guess with that, I got to watch some more Ryder. I'm going to watch a couple more Ryder fights tonight, and then I'm going to, give you my video on Munguia and Ryder. My guess, I don't know. This is a good fight. My guess is I'm leaning Munguia, but I don't know. Like, Munguia's flawed. Ryder might box his shoes off. Like, Munguia's gotten better. Has he gotten better? Good enough to beat Ryder. Ryder's tough as hell. Like, I know he's been knocked out once, but Canelo couldn't do it. Danny Jacobs couldn't do it. These are guys that are better than Munguia. So, like, I don't know that Munguia can knock him out. Callum Smith couldn't knock him out. These are guys that are better than Munguia. If those guys couldn't knock him out, I don't think that Munguia is gonna knock Ryder out. So this fight goes the distance. If it goes the distance, can he win enough rounds? I know he's super short, but he's a southpaw. He's kind of good. Like John Ryder. I know he's got 6 losses. He's kind of good. So I'm gonna go back, watch some more of him. He's got losses years ago to Arnfeld and Felding, but that's 6, 7, 8 years ago. That's not a big deal. I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch the Canelo fight. I'm going to watch the Zach Parker fight. I'm going to watch the Danny Jacobs fight and watch the Caleb Smith fight. I probably wouldn't go back as far as the Caleb Smith fight because it's not really relevant. That's 4 years ago. It's not really relevant. Glendale, what's up, bro? How you been? I give Ryder a great chance. I think so. I'm just going to look real quick and see what the odds on that is. Oh, we got the Kenshiro fight. Coming up on Tuesday in Japan. I got a video out on the Kenshiro and Carlos Canizales. Kenshiro steams rolls him. Take Kenshiro the under. Kenshiro by knockout. I think that's an easy fight to bet. Munguia is well, I just gave you a spoiler in one of my videos. Take Shavon Clark to win. I like Shavon Clark. That's a future cruiserweight champ right there. Definitely take him. John Ryder's paying plus 225. Good odds, man. Those are really, really good odds. I'm going to go watch it, but I think that might be a bet. And like I said, none of these other guys have been able to stop John Ryder. Not Canelo, not Jacobs, not Zach Parker. I know Zach Parker broke his jaw, whatever, but Ryder broke his jaw. None of those guys, who are all better than Munguia, were able to stop him. So I just top ahead, and I'll do a video to make this official. Ryder on the money line and the over. Yeah, that's a good bets. Those are good bets. I don't think he's getting stopped. I put 7,000 on Munguia Ryder. Won't be knocking him out. Munguia output and gas tank will be too much. Yes, he's very flawed, but understand that Derevchenko badly hurt Triple G. That's something Canelo couldn't do. That's a good point. That's a good point. No. Ryder won't be knocking. No, I agree with you. Ryder won't be knocking out Munguia. But that's why I like the over. I don't think. So there's basically 3 ways this fight can end. Ryder on points, or Munguia by knockout, or Munguia by decision. Munguia on points. Ryder's definitely not knocking out Munguia. So, like, of those 3, what's the most likely? I think the least likely is Munguia knocks him out because no one's been able to knock this guy out. Not better fighters. And I understand what you're saying about Munguia. But better guys haven't been able to knock him out. So, like, my hunch is that I'm going to watch some more Ryder, and I'm going to see what flaws there are to expose. I'll do a video on this hopefully tonight or maybe tomorrow. Also, if the fight is close, Ryder will never get the decision. That is true. It is not in the UK. It is in the US, and we know how Golden Boy, we know how them Golden Boy cards go. I'm gonna read the rest of this. So he has to win by stoppage, but Munguia has a chin and an incredible gas tank. I can see late stoppage. As long as it comes in the second half of the 11th or the 12th, my bet is good. Munguia forces exchanges and Ryder can't keep up for a decision win. Well, we're gonna find out. Canelo also has a low punch output. Munguia throws 1,000 punches, 100 punches around. Ryder with all the miles and damage he's taken won't be able to keep up. First 6 rounds could be close though. Look, if you pick Munguia, that's fine. What I'm saying are the odds. Munguia is minus 300. I think the fight's closer than that, and I don't think those are good odds to bet on Munguia. It's not. It's the risk there to me isn't worth the reward. Like you got to bet $300 to win $100. Like that's a lot to lay on the line to win a little bit. To me, it's like there's again if you're 100% convinced, if you think that you're certain Munguia is going to win this fight, if you're seeing something in Munguia or in Ryder that I'm not. Okay, bet Munguia. It's not outrageous to think he's going to win. I'm just the odds. I like the odds there for Ryder. Yeah, no, Twitty's right. Those are good points. Those are definitely good points that he's making. It's possible that Roddy can win, but they will never give. That's a good point, man. So what I'm telling you is, it's a good point. Like. Golden Boy decisions are horrible. Like they're terrible. So Ryder's got to knock him out. And I agree, Ryder's not knocking him out. And it's also in Phoenix. We've seen bad decisions in Phoenix, right? It's not that it's corrupt or bogus. It's just not a place where we have a ton of big fights. So the commission's not good. They're not experienced. I know Eddie Hearn likes putting a lot of these fights in Arizona because he sells well. Oh, well, this is a Golden Boy card. Never mind. Ryder is definitely physically stronger and will rough Munguia up if they get on the inside and wrestle. I got Munguia by late stoppage or a robbery decision if the fight is close. Yeah, Glenn, you gotta factor in the robbery. You gotta factor in the robbery. The robbery is definitely in play in this fight, and it was a good point. Like when you're betting on these things, like you have to factor in which fighter the judges like. Like apparently the judges really like Jack Cullen because I didn't see him win the 4 or 5 rounds in that fight. Like, I didn't see that fight close. But the judges gave Cullen the first fight when everyone thought Chile won, and then they had this fight super close when it wasn't. So who the judges like is really, 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 really important. What else is on this card that's worth betting? Let me. Twinny, you're a UK guy. What do we think about Shavon Clark and Tommy McCarthy? Well, what do we think about that fight? I think McCarthy he beat my paisan, Fabio Turkey. I thought he was good, but he looks like he's quit on the sport. Like he's not trying to win no more. Like he came in his last fight, he was kind of fat. It just doesn't look like he's in it. And my instinct on Clark and McCarthy was, if McCarthy, it's 2 questions. Can he still fight? He's 33. He's not that old, but that's not young either. Can he still fight? And does he want to still fight? Or does he just want to be an opponent that collects paychecks? I don't know. And I think we're going to find an answer out tomorrow. But if McCarthy comes to fight, Clark's in for a fight. If not, I think Clark's steamrolls. I think Clark wins either way because I think Clark's the future world champ and McCarthy isn't. So I'm taking Clark. But like McCarthy could be a dog in there or he could roll over. I don't know which one he's going to do. Glendale says, I decided not to bet on any of the fights today. I'm not a big fan of betting on UK fights. Their fighters, refs, and judges are sus and not consistent. I mean, that's true for sure, but that's true everywhere. Like, how are the judges in Texas, Glenn? Are they going to be fair and on the up and up? Twitty says, I really like Clark. I think he stops McCarthy. Think he stops him? I think so too. I think Clark, he's super athletic and he's gifted. He's a good boxer who happens to be really big. Clark is someone to really, if you guys aren't familiar, I know the cruiserweight division doesn't get a ton of luster, doesn't get a ton of talk about. If you guys get a chance to watch Shavon Clark, this guy's good, man. Like he's going to move up quickly in the cruiserweight division. So I got a video out on that. Go check my video out. Absolutely go check my video out on that. I also have one on the Kenshiro fight, and I'm going to get this weekend's fight this next weekend with Jaime Munguia. I'm going to get that up in the not so distant future, hopefully today or tomorrow. Well, if you're in the UK, it will definitely be tomorrow. You could have that when you wake up. I'll have it for you later in the day. I'm just going to look on this one more time here. Is there anything else on that Shavon Clark card? Patty Donovan. Patty Donovan's a good prospect, man. So we have something on that. We should have Patty Donovan. I'll probably do a video on that this week. They don't have anything on the Patty Donovan fight, but I'm sure they'll add it as we get closer. Patty Donovan's definitely someone to keep your eye on. And then Oscar Collazo, that's not a fight worth doing. Minus 4,000. Adam Azim. We'll have a couple more. Conor Benn and Peter Dobson. That's February 3rd. So we'll have a couple more videos this week. Again, we split this weekend because the Aaron McKenna fight, I didn't do one on his new opponent because I did one with Udafia, but then Udafia got pulled out. So we hit on Jeffers, and we missed on Jack Cullen. Jack Cullen was utterly disappointed, but we still hit on the over on that. I told you I'll take the over on that. So we hit on the over. We just missed on Cullen. Oh, we split. We made our money back this week, and we'll move on to the next week. Might sound a bit racist, but I feel like UK fighters are not good. They fight good one day and trash the next day. Glendale says, Patty Donovan KO prop is trash on FanDuel. What is it on FanDuel? I always use DraftKings, Glenn. Yeah, I feel like at this level, until Conor Benn gets back to fight the world, he's going to knock everyone out. So take Conor Benn on the under. Take Conor Benn by knockout. Conor Benn is going to be knocking out a lot of people. Especially until he starts fighting at the high. It's like Virgil Ortiz. You can't knock him out at that level. Now, if he fights Errol Spence, he's not going to knock him out. But at this level, until he's fighting the highest level guys, yeah, he's going to knock everybody out. All right, we're going to wrap this up soon. I've been going on for almost 45 minutes. I appreciate you guys. 20, Glendale, Rafa again in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Share the video, like it, all the free stuff. I appreciate it. Also, if you're interested, I got a Patreon. Join my Patreon. You'll get my lock of the week. I will scout a fighter for you. If I don't do a fight that you want me to, I don't do a video on a fight that you want me to do a video on, just recommend it, and I will do it for you. You get a ton of perks. You get a free t-shirt if you join my Patreon. It's just $5 a month. So please, if you can, support us on Patreon. We'll make it worth your while. But good night at fights. Hopefully we get the Jonas fight again, the Jonas Mayer fight again. And hopefully we get to see Steve Clark again pretty soon. All right, it's January 20th, 2024. It's great meeting you guys too, bro. It's great meeting you, bro. Big love always to the UK, and we'll see you guys next week for next week's cards. From Texas to the world, thank you, and God bless.